Welcome, good afternoon. I'm Andrew Fox. This is a Lunch and Learn series from Trust Systems, talking about our Trust Cloud proposition in partnership with Crown Hosting. Today, what we're discussing is how we can help local government organisations bridge the cloud gap and help you sort of transform and move to a more hybrid multi-cloud environment whilst trying to sort of meet some of your key objectives. So in terms of just some very quick introductions, as I mentioned, this presentation's in partnership with Crown Hosting. Just bear with me 2 seconds. So yeah, I'm Andrew Fox. I'm Director at Trust Systems, and we've got on the call with us today, we've got Jamie. Jamie is a Client Engagement Manager from Crown Hosting. Jamie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Andy. Good afternoon all. Jamie Whysall, as Andy said, Client Engagement Manager at Crown Hosting. I look after all of our local government customers from initial engagement right the way through to the life of them within Crown Hosting.
Fantastic. And yeah, just so look, Jamie, thanks ever so much for joining us today. Clearly, cloud is a topic that is hot on the agenda to help public sector transform. You know, we're hearing various things from central government in terms of the CDDO policies, in terms of the DDAP playbook, and hopefully, you know, through our conversations today, we can help enlighten and how Crown Hosting can help support local government organisations, and how Trust Cloud can help you know, deliver that. That's our aim. In terms of timescales and how we want to run this, everybody, we're running probably about sort of 25 minutes of content, and this will be available for you to view. We are recording it. We're very happy for it to be. Yeah, if anyone's got any questions, if anyone's got anything that they want to raise, quite happy for that to sort of come through at the question and answer session towards the end. But ultimately, as we mentioned, we're going to go through how we can help bridge the gap. How can Crown Hosting actually help your organisation as a data centre partner? We're going to talk about how Trust Cloud is enabling transformation, and a little bit more around the hybrid multi-cloud platform that we operate, and how we, from a managed service and our professional services, can help organisations modernise from that whole, you know, auditing, design, all the way through to transition. Okay, so look, let's start at the top. You know, why Trust Cloud? I think very simply, most organisations, most public sector organisations in the market today are looking at their cloud strategy. In terms of waves, we've seen sort of, you know, quite a big swathe of organisations, you know, moving from legacy on-prem straight to public cloud. Some organisations moving back from public cloud to more of an on-prem environment. And clearly, the world is you know, adopting an application-first mindset, whether that's software as a service, whether that's hosted on your own infrastructure, but it is very much an application hybrid environment that we're working on. So we are absolutely seeing some key trends and changes in how people are looking to design their infrastructure to support the ever-changing digital world that we work and live in. So multi-cloud deployments are absolutely becoming an increasing part of a business strategy. You know, that drive and need for interoperability of data and applications between those environments is absolutely vital. Making sure that people can get access to the data safely and securely, and making sure that performance of that infrastructure is providing an enhanced application performance with operational benefits for your organisation. So what we're seeing today is in the marketplace that one size doesn't necessarily fit all from a cloud perspective. We are very much working with organisations, and, you know, through our conversations, it's very much around the right cloud for the right application, which is driving this more multi-hybrid cloud environment, where, you know, we are seeing, you know, whether it's backup, DR, primary, you know, the infrastructure has to now consider, is the cloud that application is sitting on is right for the performance that's required, and accessibility and security that is required for that data, and for the application performance. So what we look to try and address from a Trust Cloud perspective is how we can provide a stepping stone environment, bridging the on-prem to public cloud gap, and how we can facilitate a stepping stone environment within Crown Hosting, as we'll come on to in a few minutes, to provide that hybrid journey to full cloud. And clearly through Trust Cloud as an organisation, what are we here to try and do? It is to deliver through our partnerships. We are agnostic from a technology vendor perspective and who we decide to choose to work with in terms of our solutions, but ultimately we are here to drive that system integration and deliver that managed services that really mean that you can, as a local government, move forward and do what you do best in terms of running your organisation, your business. So how can we help your organisation deliver change, deliver transformation, deliver against that ever increasing topic of sustainability? That's something that's front of mind for most organisations. How we can help you propel that value back to your organisation through the use of the right IT infrastructure and services. How can we drive operational efficiencies? That's bridging some of those skills gaps, but equally, modernising that stack to try and help with self-provisioning of VMs and infrastructure and automation across the stack, and clearly driving value for money. Again, something that's always top of mind for most organisations, but how can we really drive that value from a cloud infrastructure perspective, delivering back into your environments, into your strategy? And as we mentioned, again, from a central government perspective, those strategies coming through from the DDAP playbook and the CDDO office, how can we sort of encourage that part of that one cloud strategy from central government around more cloud adoption, greater digital transformation, and more of a sort of a commercial, flexible, agile OpEx model from how to consume. Thanks for joining. So just for sort of coming back into the piece, Trust Cloud, as we've mentioned, is a hybrid multi-cloud platform. We provide that IaaS, that system, that infrastructure with a managed service wrap, but it's delivered in a secure, certified, sustainable solution, sort of sustainable environment, being Crown Hosting. We are, as a business, as a solution, trying to drive that shared hybrid environment, look to accelerate digital transformation, drive cost savings through the design and build of the solution, and provide that commercial agility. And equally, all of that is very much front and centre, being in with data security and sovereignty at top of the mind of how we can make sure that again that data, which is critical, is secure, is accessible, but is also held within a sovereign DC. So what are we critically here to do? As we've mentioned, it is that stepping stone journey for maybe for some of those more legacy environments that aren't necessarily suitable for public cloud, that may not be the right environment being in public cloud. How can we bridge that gap as that stepping stone, providing cloud as that operating model, not as a location, helping you drive transformation quicker and meet some of those sustainability goals. So just a little bit before I hand over to Jamie, we can go a little bit more about Crown Hosting. Just to give you a little bit of an overview of Trust Systems. We have significant pedigree delivering cloud and networking infrastructures for organisations. We've got sort of 15 plus years experience. We're based down in Cirencester with a team of 60 plus sort of experts. We very much focus on providing digital system integration with a managed service wrap around what we provide to our customers. And we not only do we work within the UK, but we do have a number of global clients as well that we work with, helping them with their digital strategy and digital infrastructure. Critically, in terms of why we have been selected in terms of the partnership with Crown Hosting to deliver within the community cloud environment that we have within Trust Cloud. We have been providing Arc data centers, that is the data center environment within for Crown. We've been their managed services partner for their network infrastructure for the last 7 years, and that's critically why we have been selected as part of the trusted partnership to provide Trust Cloud within Crown Hosting. And in terms of the technology partners that we're working with, and we've obviously clearly mentioned Crown Hosting from an infrastructure data center perspective. We are G-Cloud, we are on the G-Cloud framework, and we are partnering with Nutanix for the hyper-converged infrastructure stack in delivering the hybrid multi-cloud environment. And then we're working with various others for the bare metal for backup infrastructure, and equally for security and break fix. So that's very much just an introduction as a bit of a scene setter, and I'll pass over to Jamie, who can just talk a little bit more around Crown Hosting.
Thank you, Andy. So just to give you all a little bit of a background on Crown Hosting, who we are and what we deliver for the public sector. If you just want to pop onto the next slide, Andy. So Crown Hosting was formed back in 2015. It's a joint venture between the Cabinet Office and Arc Data Centres to provide a single supplier of data centre space for the public sector. We operate across all sectors and have a number of local government customers utilising our facilities. And in effect, what we are there to do is to provide cost-effective, secure, and safe data center space for customers. With to date, we have delivered just shy or just over £2 billion worth of savings to the public sector across all of our customers, and those savings really come from the reduction in power usage by using innovative cooling mechanisms, and by reducing the physical cost of data centers by really aggregating the spend that we have through the success of Crown Hosting as a joint venture. In simple terms, Crown Hosting offers safe, secure, resilient, and sustainable data center space for the public sector. That's what we were created to do, and that's what we continue to deliver on a day in, day out basis. Over the last couple of years, and as we've been seeking to support our colleagues across public sector to embrace the cloud and to use the flexibilities within the Crown Hosting framework to make that leap to public cloud and to private cloud as appropriate, we've recognised that we've needed to iterate our offer to our clients. And that's really where our shared hybrid initiatives have come in, and working with the likes of Trust and their solution around Trust Cloud, bringing the cloud closer to Crown Hosting and closer to the physical infrastructure that customers may have, provides a unique opportunity for customers like yourselves to house both your legacy and your future states in one location, to reduce latency, to improve connectivity, and ultimately to simplify your digital transformation opportunities. Andy talked about sustainability, and that's really key to Crown Hosting. Compared to an on-premises data centre, which I know most local authorities will, kind of have, that's the typical operating model. We will remove about 99.9% of the carbon emissions associated with an on-premises data centre, and also deliver probably a saving of around 75% in your kilowatt hours that you will be consuming into the cooling your equipment within your on-premises data center. And that's really where some of the key benefits from the Crown Hosting framework comes from. I'm not going to go into a lot more detail. Happy to follow up with any questions. Happy to follow up should you like to know more about Crown Hosting. But on that note, I will hand back to Andy to finish off the positioning on Trust Cloud.
Thank you very much, Jamie. Very helpful. Okay, so just going a little bit more into the hybrid multi-cloud. We're not going to go into too much of a technical discussion today, just more of an overview of what it can facilitate from a business benefits and a business outcomes perspective. Yeah, let me just go into hybrid multi-cloud. So why are we sort of looking as that as I mentioned around it, hybrid multi-cloud being very much now more of a design part of somebody's cloud strategy rather than it being sort of through a devolved position over time. And we want to try and sort of take that and harness that and deliver it as a strategy that can deliver benefit to organisations. So it's enabling local government to address some of the key challenges that we're aware that. Sorry, I've just got Sam rejoining us. Just bear with us. That we're aware that you have within your organisations, and that's very much around looking at that legacy, some of those legacy applications that maybe need to be modernised but aren't suitable for public cloud. And we understand there's probably about 70% of 70% of infrastructure within the public sector that is sat still within those legacy data centres within those legacy environments. And clearly there's some massive benefits that can be done in terms of moving those to a more suitable environment on a more modern operational on an infrastructure stack. Clearly, we've mentioned operational costs. How can we help control? How can we help provide that predictability of spend across your cloud consumption, and clearly driving a more efficient number. We've mentioned about sustainability, and clearly Jamie has articulated how the data center environment can help support drive some of those key savings. But equally, looking at a modern hyperconverged infrastructure stack itself can help deliver cost savings and efficiencies around just space and power. But equally, more design around that sort of infrastructure, providing it the right size for the applications that you're delivering. And clearly, where does that data need to reside? Where are those business critical applications hosted? And again, hitting that that deliverable of being within a UK sovereign data center that is secure, again, is something that we're able to do. Another one that's not often talked about, but some areas that we know that across the technology stack, organisations in public sector and the commercial world are struggling with, and that's around skills gap. Skills gap within your team, trying to deliver that service back to your organisation. How can we help bridge some of those skills gap, whether that's security, whether that's cloud infrastructure? Again, through an outsourced managed service, we can help deliver some of those services back into your organisation without having to either upskill or look for new members of the team to come in and support a new infrastructure stack. And equally there, that secure, managed, private, public cloud. How can you provide that operational experience across that multi-cloud environment? Again, through our partnership with Nutanix and Hyperconverged, we can deliver that same operating model, look and feel across a multi-cloud environment. So there's some of the key challenges. And just to sort of articulate in diagram speaks 1,000 words in terms of what we're trying to sort of talk about here, we are talking about how we can look at taking some of those existing data sets, existing applications, and move them into a trust cloud community environment that's your present state, but equally then that is in an environment that can then facilitate some of the other partnerships within Crown Hosting for some of the hyperscalers, and how we can deliver that for you as a single package, a single entity, as an operating model rather than as a siloed cloud consumption model. So if you're thinking about looking at cloud and looking at your cloud strategy, some of the key areas and some of the decision points that you're going to have to make is sort of maybe where it's hosted, whether that's looking at your requirements. Does it need to be on-prem? Does it need to be off-prem? How can you facilitate that? Clearly, from an off-prem perspective, we've talked about Crown Hosting, sovereign data center capability. And within that, Trust Cloud can provide a trust managed service for IaaS, DR, and backup as a service using the Nutanix hyperconverged infrastructure stack. If actually you're still in a position in terms of that journey to cloud, you still have a requirement for some of that infrastructure to remain on-prem, again, through the hyperconverged management stack, we can provide a remote managed service, again, for that IaaS, DR, and backup environments. And clearly, in terms of some of that future state, or looking at consolidating some of the public cloud or other cloud environments, again, through the Nutanix hyperconverged clusters, we can again delivering that operating model, that same look and feel out into the hyperscalers for that more multi-cloud environment. So again, you have the option and the choice points of looking at the right location for your application and your data to give you the right cost model to deliver benefit back into your organization. We can deliver that as a multi-cloud environment, as a managed service back to your business through the Nutanix software and solution that we provide. So let's just just very quickly just wrap up on some of these points, some of the technology deliverables within Trust Cloud. It's around updating and enabling a hybrid solution. It's managing that data and the performance across your cloud infrastructure stack through the Nutanix software. It's looking at really those cloud first strategies, how we can offer support around accelerating, modernizing, looking at some of those legacy infrastructure, to putting them in the right place to still look at reducing some of your power consumptions, look at some of your cost models, to again deliver against some of those KPIs and policies, whether that's sustainability or just moving to save some money. We're very agile. Also, we move forward. In terms of some of the strategic deliverables, we can, as we've mentioned, look at reducing that carbon footprint through working with Crown Hosting and the hyperconverged infrastructure stack itself. We can deliver cost savings and different cost models that meet your requirements, whether that's OPEX or CAPEX. Again, being flexible around your budgets and what your drivers are from a government perspective, but it really is delivering that that platform as a service across that multi-cloud environment that will deliver strategic benefit to your organisation, as well as hitting a lot of the tick boxes around sovereign data center, secure environment, government certified, knowing that your data and your infrastructure is housed within a very secure, authorized environment. So how can we help and how can we engage? For us, it is about looking at the journey and looking at how we can help support you transform as quickly or as within taking you from where you are today to a sort of a more multi-cloud environment. So for us, it's very much about getting engaged from a discovery perspective, understanding what you've got, where it is, and potentially where your problems and pain points are, and then looking at a migration plan to moving to a future state, even if that is lifting and shifting what you've currently got into a colo environment, looking at modernizing that into a sort of a hyper-converged infrastructure stack that can enable that multi-cloud environment. We have a proof of concept facility that's available, so we can very much show you and allow you to come and consume and use the Nutanix hyperconverged platform that we're running for either IaaS, backup, or DR to prove the benefits, the business benefits to your organisation, and then very much moving that into a production state, and then moving forward into a managed service where we can help support the infrastructure that we've delivered for you, providing that from a top of rack, bottom of rack network infrastructure support, managing the physical tin and environment that the infrastructure is housed within, as well as then providing break fix, software support, etc., delivering that as a full life cycle, a managed life cycle support model for your cloud infrastructure. We've mentioned at the beginning about how we've been working with ARC. We're very much willing to share some further information around how we have been supporting ARC within their data center environment for the last sort of 7 years. And I think for us, it's a great testament that we are one part of this Crown Hosting community cloud environment. But that's very much off the back of the great work we've been doing with ARC and the continued support that they provide us. So again, I'm going to leave you with this from a summary perspective. We are on the G-Cloud framework, so we're able to contract with you on that basis. We're able to deliver an OPEX commercial model as well as CAPEX. We very much size the infrastructure that meets your requirements, and we're very agile in our approach. And again, for us, it isn't about complete transformation. Some of this is around looking at some of those legacy applications and how we can provide them in a better environment, as well as looking at modernizing the infrastructure stack. But for us, it's sustainability, it's cost savings, it's managed service efficiencies that can all be delivered across that single hyper-converged hybrid multi-cloud environment. Okay, well, I've pretty much just about kept to my 25 minutes as promised. Look, opening up the floor, has anybody got any questions that they would like to pose at this stage to either myself or Jamie? Jamie, have you got any final words that you want to sort of share at all with the audience?
No, I think just thank you for joining, and if there is any questions that come after the event, happy to take those offline.
Fantastic. I think we just have a hand up from Tony. Tony, who's joined us. Hi there, Tony.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Tony. How are you?
Cool. I'm very. Could we make a camera on if possible?
Yeah, sure. Let me just bring you in.
Thank you. For those of you who know me, I've been with Crown Hosting from day one. For those of you who may not, I'm the operations director for Crown Hosting. And what I wanted to say was the efforts and the enthusiasm that we're all putting into this on behalf of government is unique, because the Central Digital and Data Office, CDDO, are tasked with enabling government to, one, digitalize as much as they can, two, save money, and three, be as sustainable as possible. So fundamentally what we've done, and thank you both for telling us this morning, but what we've done from day one is try to encourage people into the Crown environment, because that's where the future is for government IT infrastructures. What you have today is another example of where we've gone another step further. So we introduced Trust, because they've been looking after the ARC infrastructure for us for many years, to Nutanix. And between them, they've come up with a really good option, which ticks all the boxes. It's been approved by the CDDO. It's also backed by Crown itself. So from our perspective, if you need to look at moving even just one step closer to, or hybrid into cloud environments, take the opportunity. It's here for you now. And if you need, as Jamie said, speak to him, call Andrew, call anybody on this this event that we had this morning. Last but not least, reach out to me. I'm always there, and if you need my help and a pointer, I will certainly give it to you. So that's it from me. Thank you, everyone.
Tony, thank you for that endorsement. That's really kind, and thank you for your support and continued support. So yeah, look, just to wrap up, there's my details and Jamie's details. If you've got any further questions following today's session, we very happily sort of take them But look, we'd really encourage, and we'd be really delighted if we could have some further conversations with those that are on the those that they're on and have found it of interest and are looking at making some changes to their infrastructure. And we'd very much like to take you into a more consultative phase and understand what you're trying to achieve and how we can help support you and deliver that for your organisations, because I think it's an exciting time and quite a unique offering that we have in the marketplace, from not just a Nutanix hyperconverged infrastructure stack, but also from a Crown hosting environment as well, in terms of that community cloud that is being created to, as Tony articulated, bringing the data closer to public sector. So thank you very much, and I hope you've enjoyed your sandwiches whilst we've been rabbiting. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks very much.